Hi, my name is Sam Price, the Crypto Lifer, and on this channel here, we bought $84,000 Bitcoin. We called the bounce back up on the NASDAQ and the S&P when everyone was in heavy fear. How do we do that? We use these macro signals that I'm going to teach you right now. Would you like to know how to look at the market from a big picture, zoomed out perspective and not be so dialed in all the time? Do you not be kind of pulled by your emotions and be able to see the market so you can see the big picture? Stop using your emotions all the time and really zoom out. Come with me right now. We're going to take a big picture look at the entire macro analysis of the DXY, Bitcoin, S&P futures, gold, and more. Let's jump on in today. I do this every single Friday. Let's go. The first thing I'm going to start with is Bitcoin. Bitty Bitcoin. There's a lot of people speculating a big pullback could be coming, or are we about to rip to the upside? Crypto Twitter is bullish. Some people are bearish. Did we double top on the weekly? Let's break it down. Let's talk about it. The macro analysis for Bitcoin every single Friday. So here we are. Right now, the weekly is showing a possible double top on the weekly. We have to look into that. If that is a double top, it would make an M pattern of some type like so. That would be the first start of the M. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then even larger, downtrend somewhere back down there to 55,000. I mean, no go, right? Again, is that going to happen? Anything is possible. I'm open-minded. It looks unlikely, but anything is possible. Right now, we have to look at this. I'd like this to close green. Right now, on Sunday night, is going to close red if it's like this right now. The 5-day chart also red, but showing signs of a bounce and big buying right there with the wick. The 3-day chart actually moving further to the upside, looking like it may actually trend further up. We'll slap on the moving averages. You can see the 21 curving towards the 200, towards the 50. That's a very good sign on the 3-day, and this could create an uptrending flag that actually has a bigger picture move here, 133,000. Remember, if you've been watching my macro analysis videos over and over again, I'm the guy that called out Bitcoin in the falling wedge and told you that falling wedges break out 68% of the time. I'm the same guy that called out hidden bullish divergence. I told you that basically if price action was swinging up, but the RSI was swinging down, while the stochastics RSI were low, and we pulled a Fibonacci, and we clearly saw that we had bounced off of the 618 golden pocket there, unbelievable. I showed you where we had seen that before, and Bitcoin had actually made a monster move, a Fibonacci retracement back to the 618 golden pocket, swing up while the RSI was swinging down, and stochastics was super low. If you learn what I just taught you, this is a structure that I use, a model that I can use on the 1 minute, the 5 minute. When everyone else is bugging out, there's usually a lot of fear there. A lot of shorts get made at that moment. They can't read hidden bullish. It's called hidden bullish for a reason. Bang. I called that out, and then even the daily had bullish div. And I just want to point this out. I was saying it every single week on this macro analysis video and talking about a reversal back to the upside. Bitcoin is now knocking at the door at the previous all-time high. It's basically like steps away. It does that. It continues to rip, and I get this 137 to about 100. I get basically 130. Let me take wick to wick. This wick all the way to the end wick, yeah. And every time I do this, I'm getting about $139,000, $140,000 Bitcoin, all right? Would suggest that we go up here, then we make some type of pullback or sideways price action before our next big leg to the upside. So things look more bullish for sure, getting a little more overbought on the 3-day. The daily kind of curving back down and actually looking more bullish today too, as it was struggling a lot. And it's really battling 104,000. It seems to be the key level. It gets back above 104. It seems like it's going to rip to 105, 106, and then it's really gone. And look, I'm looking for this flag to break out. Remember, we gave you this flag here and talked about how we were going to go sideways with the 21 and break out. We took the measured move of the pole, and we knew where we were likely going to go. We gave you this flag here. I found this as a fractal of the daily time frame back here, if you remember. And we called out the fact that Bitcoin looked just like that and was going to rip. It did that exact same thing, and we nailed it. It was amazing. We called that bottom there with the rippage. I don't know how this happens, but we did make all these calls on the channel. I like trading flags above the 200 when the 21 crosses. That's my signal right there that I take on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, all over. You'll learn if you join my trading group, the models that I have and how I learned how to use them from small to bigger time frames. And so the daily now looks more bullish than bearish to me. Look at the 21 curving up. Things looking pretty good as Bitcoin holds $104,000. So I could get into the smaller time frames, but that's what we'll do on the other, on my stream Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Heck, you can see me even trading the 1 minute. We've traded the 1 second a couple times, The thing is this macro video looks good. And this looks like we're going to continue. I like this pattern, this macro look. We go sideways, the 21 catches, and this thing rips. And I see $118,000 Bitcoin, coming out the gate here. That's the measured move, wick to wick. So I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I expect us to come next week, and Bitcoin's higher than it is right now. Despite, the 3 days, despite the bigger time frames, things are looking pretty nice. This 4-hour double bottom too as well. I don't want to get too small. This is a macro video, but the 4-hour double bottomed as well. I'm looking for this daily to continue to rip, continue a flag. I don't see how this goes 7 days without breaking out. I see 7 days from now, we're somewhere above $107,000 for BTC. I could be wrong, and watch my channel. If things change, we'll know. But right now, the macro stands bullish for Bitcoin. With that being said, we now look at total, the entire market cap of all of the cryptocurrencies in the game. And total, to me, is making a bull flag that is likely going to continue to break out. I see this bull flag going sideways. The 21 crossing the 200 is very bullish. Look, you can bring this up. That's support and resistance, resistance, resistance. We wicked to it twice. I see this maybe a couple more days, 4 or 5 more days at the most, and then a breakout. It says by next week when we show up, total is also breaking out on the macro. Total 3, the entire market cap of all of the cryptocurrencies, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. This isn't as cut and dry as total because Bitcoin's kind of carrying the show there. But you can see the daily 200 MA. If we remove everything and you just look at the moving average, that's a very key area for price action to hold and bounce from. And it also has some support and resistance on these wicks. So it's a very strong area to come back to. I'm really liking what I'm seeing here on the chart. I pull this area down. You can see, that's a bounce. So as long as we get this bounce, if we lose this level, something's struggling for the altcoins. But it's looking like we're going to bounce here, go sideways, and then just a monster move is coming for these altcoins. That's what I'm seeing. So it says pack your bags, get ready. Altcoins are about to go on another leg up, at least for a little bit here, and then get back to $1 trillion market cap for the altcoins, which is very, very bullish. Then I like to look at Bitcoin dominance. What's happening to Bitcoin dominance? Well, let's look at it on the macro here again. So on the weekly, it got overbought. And it finally seemed like it hit a bit of a peak, and people started jumping into Ethereum. Like Ethereum started looking so undervalued that they had to jump on in. But you can see the macro now looks like it's kind of making more of a heightened rising wedge. It does look like it may get a bit of a bounce here. Let's take a look at the 3-day and the daily. Yeah, the daily's very overbought, and it's showing signs of a higher, there's your low, high, slightly higher low. It also has some hidden bullish divergence. So everyone thinks that we're just going to rip. Everyone thinks we're just going to rip on Bitcoin dominance here. We're going to dump and the altcoins are going to rip, but I wouldn't be so sure. I really wouldn't. I see this hidden bullish on Bitcoin dominance, which suggests that it's going to make a move here back to the top of this channel. Also, I see Bitcoin making a pretty big run. Then Bitcoin can come back down, go down again, and let the altcoins pump. Then we're going to rip. And this could be the kind of channel we go on in the next few weeks. I do see Bitcoin ripping up. It's going to take, some of the prices up for the altcoins, but, it's not going to be altcoin season. All right. Man, it's just, so that's how I'm looking at Bitcoin dominance. I would say, hey, Bitcoin's going to come up again and rip again, and people are going to wish they were in Bitcoin. And it's going to be Bitcoin season yet again. It's not altcoin season just yet. It's lending into it. That was a nice Bitcoin dominance drop. But, what you're really looking for, if we didn't have that hidden bullish, is the shoulder and we dump. That could happen if we see it. Awesome. Then we'll start to know. But right now, I still think it's Bitcoin's turn here till it gets past that all-time high. Next, I have to look at Tether dominance. All right, Tether dominance. We want to see where the money is flowing, and we want to make sure it's flowing out of Tether, because that's how you know it's going into Bitcoin and into altcoins. Now, look, everyone says that patterns, it's funny, but I was able to figure all this out because, number one, we made a rising wedge, which we knew was going to break to the downside. Number two, shoulder, head, right shoulder, shoulder, head, right shoulder. It was a shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder, like complex head. That's what Bitcoin's in right now. The other side, upside down, Bitcoin's in one of these. It looks exactly very similar to that. So, and we'll remove all the squiggles, but that's amazing. And that's a bear flag breaking below the daily 200. That's the most bearish sign ever. Whenever you close a daily candle below a 200 MA, that's when you're going to dump. I see this continuing to dump, and it's just going to be all good for Bitcoin. Like, it looks like a big move is coming here for Bitcoin. Even on a Friday, like, it looks like Bitcoin is going to be doing some damage here. Right now, as we speak, this will come out later, but as we speak, Bitcoin 104,400, and I gave the long on the live stream. That's why you should come and watch me Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday nights at 8 p.m., and also the weekend morning updates somewhere between 8 and 10. They're impromptu. I just do them, but they're there. Bitcoin 104,005, absolutely doing damage. This is really nice to see Bitcoin ripping to the upside. So now that I finished tethered dominance, I like to look at the DXY, because the DXY, right, is what's happening to the dollar. Now, the dollar index and tethered dominance do not go hand in hand. Remember that. But they sometimes can dump and pump together. But right now, you're seeing a bit of a strong dollar. A bit of a move back to the upside here, which, not the best. It will make the price of goods go back up again, but the dollar looking like it's going to pump. One other thing, though, is, Trump making the deal with the AED and then seeing the American flag on the Burj Khalifa, that's just strengthening the use of the dollar, too, around the world. And the dollar's basically, people are seeing it's visual. It's an Adam and Eve double bottom, too. It looks like the dollar's going to pump with Bitcoin here. Again, it happens, but it does look like the dollar's going to pump with Bitcoin. Doesn't mean Bitcoin's going to dump just because the dollar's going to pump. But right now, it's looking like the DXY could take a move. Now, if it could finally right shoulder get rejected here, but I don't know. The charts are telling me that the DXY could kind of continue up here a little bit more. Eventually, it could double top there at 101, right? For the altcoins, you'd really like to see, you don't want to see the DXY pumping personally, but again, it's not the worst thing in the world. They can pump together for a period of time. You just don't want to see it happen. You don't want it correlated forever, which it usually isn't. But that is strong. That looks like the DXY could be getting a move. Let's take a look at gold. Gold went on a rally, but I told you it was likely gold was going to sell off a little bit there or go sideways, right? Why? It had a double top, number one. Then some news came out where they actually are making gold in a lab. You saw that? I think that's bearish for gold. It really is. And it's going to say, well, it's easier to have gold. And eventually they're not going to have to dig for it. I mean, that could send ripples through the entire industry. And that's probably pretty hard to do. And usually it's just like the beginning stages of an article that's not as, as substantiated. But it's the beginnings of what could be. The diamond industry now, regular diamonds have fallen off. Will gold continue to pump? Honestly, I'm kind of like more into Bitcoin than gold. But hey, there is a divergence there. Shoulder, head, right shoulder. Previous support is resistance. Let's see how this news reflects, the supply of gold. But if I didn't hear this news, I'd say gold's making an inverted head and shoulder, and it's going to continue to pump. Even if they do make it in a lab, it's still more scarce than the dollar. And if the dollar continues to lose value over time, even though it's pumping right now, right? But you can see people are, they're not rushing into gold anymore. They're actually selling off their gold. They're getting back into the dollar for a period of time thinking, where do I put the dollars? And they're and then I think because there's so many different things to do, they sit in the dollar a little longer, which gives the dollar some strength right now. But I think it's just really just investors waiting to put the capital in certain places. And that's what's making the dollar strong. Eventually they're going to allocate, and then the rate cuts look like they could be coming too on a macro scale. So gold looks like you're going to make that inverted head and shoulder and continue to the upside if I had to call it on gold. Let's take a look at our baby Ethereum. And I want to look at ETH BTC and ETH USD Tether. And ETH continuing to beat up. And now let's take a look at Ethereum. I want to take a look at Ethereum BTC and Ethereum US Tether. And they look pretty much the same on the charts. And what you see here is there's just this beautiful support that we're holding above. The 21 needs to come to it. And it looks like we could just, all I want to do is watch Ethereum just flag outside. This would be amazing, right? Makes this amazing flag, stays above support, catches the 21 somewhere there. It just says you have 5 to 7 days of sideways price action before Ethereum starts to move. It's also holding its level against Bitcoin, which is awesome, which means the next time Bitcoin pumps, Ethereum's going to pump with it, and then Bitcoin won't be able to catch up with the way it's beating up against Bitcoin. So finally, Ethereum bottoming out against Bitcoin. Finally, look, you made it 35% if you would put your Bitcoin into Ethereum. just, about 10 days ago, right? So this looks like it's going to go sideways and continue to pump. I like what I'm seeing for Ethereum. I'm going to say the same thing for Ethereum US Tether, really. Basically, I want to see this flag go sideways, play out. Looks like it's going to take 5 to 7 days. Maybe when we show up next week, we're about to pump, or we're in our second or third day of pumping for Ethereum. Last but not least, the S&P futures. And we called out, if you remember, we called out a pump coming on the S&P here, a huge one. Let's take a look at the daily. The last time we were live here was just 7 days ago, somewhere around here, right, on May 8th and May 9th, right there. And I was here, and I said, I see the S&P pumping huge. I see a big pump coming for the S&P. Remember, if you've been watching this channel for a while, my macro analysis, how did I figure out we were going to continue to pump? Well, what I did is I took this as the impulse of the rally right there, and I drew a Fibonacci, and I saw that we came to the golden pocket, the 618, which is just a coincidence that we bounced from it. Lo and behold, we did. As we bounced, I made a broadening falling wedge that most people just couldn't see or didn't even know existed, but I've studied my TA for a long time. At that point, I even said, hey, do you see it? I don't know who did, but I called it out. And I showed you that there was an inverted head and shoulder here on the S&P. That's even a cup with a handle, right? They ripped to the upside. That's what happened. We made the flag. I came on this macro update last week, and we've been drawing these breakouts, the whole time. But then we were here last week on the macro update, May 8th or 9th. We started drawing these flags saying, Bitcoin's about to break out. We started drawing these flags saying the S&P was about to pump. And I could see that the S&P was about to do damage. And the target there is 6,000, and we're very dang close. And I see this thing continuing to rip. I see more upside coming for the S&P. When we get here next week, I see, 6,200 for the S&P futures. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. We did the same thing on the NASDAQ. We called the pump here out this flag, showed you that the measured move was to 21.8, and we're almost there now. We're flagging out now, going a little more sideways. And again, maybe on the 4 hour, we could get a slight pullback. We're a little far away. No, we're on the 21. This is looking great. I see sideways price action again until Bitcoin's, once Bitcoin rips through. But I see sideways price action again. And then I see the NASDAQ just doing damage. All right. So I see the NASDAQ continuing to pump. People need places to put money. There's so much money in the world. There's more M2 liquidity on the sidelines. What do they do with it? They got to put it into the market. There's no other place, I see the NASDAQ pumping to 22,600 and a move to the upside. Everybody, that's your macro technical analysis. We had a lot in there. We packed a punch. There was a lot of information in this video. If you like the way I do technical analysis, and you've seen it last week and it plays out and you're like, wow, if you like this macro zoomed out effect, then come to my live stream every single day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, and Saturday and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. I can't wait to see you there. I also have a beautiful trading group. Go to cryptolifer.com to find out more. Follow me on Twitter at cryptolifer33, and just go to YouTube at cryptolifer. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Crypto is life. Thank you so much for your time. God bless.